Hello, this is Ms. DB, and in this video I'm going to review how to do some of the problems from the Chapter 1, Section 4 assignment. This is on different pairs of angles, how angles can be related to each other. So the top tells about the different kinds of angles we'll be looking at today. In the first section, you just have to name whether these are complementary, supplementary, linear, vertical, or adjacent. They can be more than one. For example, in number 4, this is a linear pair and they're adjacent, so it's both. In number 5, there's lots of different types of angles that you can name from this one. So you can name just one or you can name more than one to have better practice. All right, then the next part is very similar again. You're just going to name a pair of vertical angles, a linear pair, and then an angle adjacent to angle 4. These angles are numbered, so one way that you can name an angle is with a number inside of the angle. So angle 1 is referring to this one over here. Remember that vertical angles are opposite each other when you have an X or intersecting lines. So 2 and 5 are vertical angles, 1 and 6 are vertical angles, 3 and 4 are not vertical angles. All right, so the trickier ones come when we start writing equations. So remember that complementary angles is when the sum of two angles add up to 90, and supplementary is when they add up to 180. So from that you can write equations. If you know that that's true, then you can say that, well, if they're complementary, then they'll add to be 90. If they're supplementary, they'll add to be 180. If you're given an angle, you can find its complement by just figuring out what angle would add to that to get to 90. You can find its supplement by just figuring what angle you could add to that to get to 180. So let me, I'm just going to use a pen and write the equations that I would use for these first number 10 through 13, how I would set that up. So in number 10, we want the complement of S. Well, angle S is 56, so that's one of the angles. You need to find the other angle, call it X, and the sum of those will be 90 because it's complementary. And then all you have to do is subtract 56 from both sides and you'll have your answer. For supplementary, the 56 plus x will together equal 180. So if you just go ahead and subtract the 56, then you'll find the missing angle. Same thing for this, except for the complement of r, angle r is 22, so you'd use 22 plus x equals 90, and then 22 plus x equals 180 for supplementary. So those aren't too bad. So if you need to solve a problem, I put a lot of hints on this worksheet, but some people are still having some problems. So let's look at a little bit more about how to write the equations. So here we have, this is an example problem up here that you can look back on. In number 14, we have that angle LMN and angle UVW are complementary. So to myself, I think that I have to add this plus this is going to equal 90 because that's what complementary means. And then they want us to find the measure of each angle if this one is 3x plus 5, that's the first one, and UVW, yep, that matches this one, UVW is 2x. So they're giving me what to use for this box and this box. I just have to put them together to write my equation. So my equation is going to be that 3x plus 5 plus UVW is 2x is equal to 90. That's the equation. Now, solving for x, your first step is to see if there's variables on both sides. There's not. Add like terms on each side. We have a 3x and a 2x. That's 5x. There's a plus 5. There's no other numbers constant, so we just write plus 5, and that's equal to 90. And now this is a two-step equation. The next step is to get rid of, undo any adding or subtracting. So I need to get rid of the plus 5 by subtracting 5 from both sides, which leaves me with, moving over, 5x plus 5 minus 5 is 0. 90 minus 5 is 85. And now I just divide both sides by 5. So x is equal to, and you can use a calculator if you don't have that one memorized. Everybody has a calculator on their computer, or you can have a handheld calculator, but you should definitely have a calculator at this point. That's 17. So x is 17, but that's not the answer. The question asks, find the measure of each angle if blah, blah, blah. So now I know just what x is. I wrote the equation, I solved for x. Now I have to find what is the measure of angle LMN. So I find that by taking what x is and putting it back into 3x plus 5. So instead of 3x plus 5, I will have 3 times 17 plus 5. That's 51 plus 5, but I can double check. 3 times 17 is 51 plus 5 is 56. Okay, so I'm right. This is 56 degrees. And for measure of angle UVW, let's see, that one's 2x, so that one's going to be easier. You're just going to take 2 times 17, and you'll get your answer for this one. That's a degree sign. Okay, let's look at another example. Number 15 says an angle X measures 12 degrees less than 3 times its supplement. All right, so up here, when we talked about complements and supplement, it said that you can use this expression for the supplement of an angle. 180 minus x. All right, 180 minus x is the supplement. Here, I also wrote it here. So the equation is going to be, let's see, an angle x equals, because it says it measures, 12 less than, so I put minus 12 at the back, 3 times its supplement, and the supplement is 180 minus x. So x equals 3 times 180 minus x, and then I have to subtract 12 from that. So I already wrote the equation here for you. Whoops, I was going to erase that. I guess I didn't grab the eraser. So if you're having trouble solving equations, this is algebra review. You should have learned how to solve equations in algebra, but if you forgot, we check to see if we can do the distributive property, which, yes, we can right here. So I have to take 3 times 180. Let me rewrite this. X equals 3 times 180. And then I put the minus sign, 3 times x, because the distributive property says you have to take 3 times 180 and then 3 times x. Don't forget to write the minus 12 at the back. Now you do the math. What is 3 times 180? And again, use your calculators to check if you need to, or you can just write it out. That's 540. And then write the minus 3x minus 12. Now, if there's any like terms on one side, you can combine them. We have a 540 minus 12. Let me give myself a little more room here. I think I can. There we go. So x equals 540 minus 12. Well, 540 minus 10 would be 530, and I need to subtract 2 more, so 528 minus 3x. That's the 540 minus 12. Now I have an x on the left and an x on the right. Your next step is to combine those, but you can't just go x minus 3x is minus 2x. They're on different sides of the equal sign, so I have to undo the minus 3x by adding it to both sides. Now this is 1x plus 3x, so that's 4x equals 528. And then my last step is to divide both sides by 4 so that I can undo the multiplying by 4. 132. So x equals 132. Now I have to check the question. The question says an angle x measures 12 less than 3 times the supplement. Find the measure of the angle. This is the measure of the angle. I don't have to plug that back into any part because that is actually what I wanted to find. The measure of the angle is x, so the measure of the angle is 132 degrees. And that's my answer. If it had asked for find the complement of that or something like that, then I would have to finish that up. So I did step 3 up there. So in 16, 17, 18, these are similar. In 16, it says an angle x is its own complement, is equal signs. Complement means this, x equals 90 minus x. So all you have to do, all you have to do is add 1x to both sides, and you'll get 2x equals 90, and then divide by 2 to get your answer. And then you have to answer the question. If you know that x is equal to, say, 45, you still have to find the supplement, which means 45 plus some other number equals 180. In number 17, these angles are complementary. You have to take this plus this, and it'll be equal to 90, because they're complementary. Once you write the equation, then you still have to solve for x, and then you still have to go back and plug your answer in and find what both angle measures are. In number 18, these two angles are supplementary, so you'll add these together again, but it'll be equal to 180. And then you'll solve for x, and then you'll plug x back into both of those expressions to find the measure of the angles. This one has many answers, number 19 and 20. 19 is name a pair of angles that appears to be complementary. Well, complementary means they add up to be 90, which is a right angle. So look for somewhere that looks like a right angle here. It's not marked a right angle, but let's say right here looks like this could be a right angle. So that means that WKC and let's see, that's this angle, and the angle next to it would be angle CKS. I don't know why that erased, but those two angles would be complementary. And then supplementary is if they add up to be a straight line, and then you'll answer some more questions about that. So let me know if you get stuck in any of these. Remember that I'm in the ASC room every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 1 p.m., and I have office hours those same exact days at 2 p.m. So I look forward to seeing you in there to go over any questions you have that did not get answered, or if you just want to check your work or anything like that. Thanks a lot and have a wonderful day.